progressives in the homeland, then let's know there are progressives in the land. What we have today are factional groups. Which way are they going, called Nigerians? Which way, which direction are we going? We can't get along. Oh, come on now. To their own tent, oh Israel. We can go back to our regions and begin to address ourselves from our regions. We can't continue to pretend to ourselves that you are progressives. When you're given an appointment, you abandon progressives. When you're given small money from the crumb from falling from the table, you abandon those sacred values that holds family together. Our families are collapsing. Kids are kidnapping parents, children. Ministers are being kidnapped. What kind of country is this? Oh my gosh. It's a bad story. It's a bad news. The earlier they wake up, the earlier we begin to do something. You can hear me right here. The earlier, the better for you and me. Otherwise, we are heading down to the abyss. It's not a good news. It's not a good story. That's what I think. What do you think?
You say, Mr. Omuna, that you are on the front line, confronting corruption, situations like the lack of infrastructure, etc. What do you predict for Nigeria if these conditions continue to exist?
Well, it's a good story. I mean, it's a good question, but it's also a very devastating situation in the land. We mentioned there's kidnapping taking place. There's bombings by Boko Haram. There's a job fashion. There's OPC. There is Mossab in the east. There is Boko Haram fundamentalist. And there are different fashions. Ogoni is there. OPC is there. I don't know. It's hard to predict. But it's a very sad situation. It doesn't look good. The future is very bleak. As far as I know, Nigeria, what is called Nigeria, is a failed state. And under such failed states where there are no infrastructures, the roads are being destroyed, the many roads are collapsing. Over 300 billion under Obasanjo administration was invested for roads. That roads were never constructed. The minister Nene and Obasanjo shared the money and put it in their pocket, and they never held accountable. Up to today, billions are being budgeted for security. That money goes in individual pockets. They are buying, using funds to buy properties in the West, in Europe, in Swiss bank, here in the United States. They are going to the UK to buy properties. But they can no longer do that anymore because we are here to challenge them. We carry cameras and pursue them wherever they go. They have nowhere to hide. Because people like us are here to confront them. And many others using the social media to stand up for the people, to speak up for the people. And that's what we're doing. We are on the front line, yes. And we are not afraid of anyone. We are not afraid of what man can do. We're not even afraid of anyone. Because we believe that when you stand and speak up against injustice and speak up for the people, that you leave a legacy, that your children and children's children and the people can look back and say, this man have done his job. Even if he dies in pursuance of justice, that we are justified. That's what I think. What I think is, if we don't do nothing quickly and call for sovereign national conference, well, anyway, it's already late. It's a bad story for all of us. And that country might be going on to disintegrate. And to look like Somalia. Or it will look like Libya, or it might look like Afghanistan. Each faction is armed to the teeth as I speak to you. Each faction, each section of the society are armed to the teeth. The borders are porous. Boko Haram, Nigerians, Somalians, and Chad are coming through the north to fight alongside Boko Haram. The military barracks are being bombed daily until they declare a state of emergency. But it's almost too little, too late. I don't see a better future. I don't see it. If you can see it, tell me. Where is the money going to? Billions from gas and oil. Where is it going to? They can't account for it. The United Nations Data Index shows that over $800 billion has been squandered in the past 10 decades, or in the last 10 years. $700 billion. Can you imagine that? It's unbelievable. And people are suffering. People are living under $1 per day. Why would that be the case? Why should it be the case? It shouldn't be that way. They deserve better. And we are here to help them, to fight for them. We are here to leave a legacy, to continue to speak up and to challenge injustices, to expose kidnapping, to expose corruption, to expose corrupt officials, corrupt diplomats who are looting every day. Even here in Washington, D.C., they sold real estate that cost almost 25 million, more than 50 million. Because with the accruement 2004 when it was sold to 2011, that money with interest every month is $250. Cannot be accounted for. Diplomatic officials are rogues across the country, around the world. They are never accountable. They are stealing from visa money, application money. They are stealing from whatever they can lay their hand on. Because there's corruption in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Nobody is being held accountable. What a society is that? What kind of country is that? What is going on? Let's wake up and challenge corruption. Let's wake up and speak up. Let's wake up and organize mass mobilization. Let's wake up and march in protest. The world will hear our voice, and the world will come to our support. And we're calling on international criminal justice to challenge and bring all these people into justice. When we do that, we are doing the right thing. Whether we're academia, we are professors, we are teachers, we are civil rights, we are campaigners, we are advocates, whatever role we can play. Men, women, children, young people, old people, let's stick together, let's march together and challenge injustices against our people, against ourselves. It is now or never. Now is the time. If we don't do it now, no one else can do it for us. That's what I think.
You mentioned earlier that the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAN, became or has become fractured, similar to other factions. What do you know, if anything, that they are doing today, that NANs are actually doing today?
NANs currently as it stands seems to be sectionalized. NANs, as we had in our time, it was a strong movement. When NANs speaks, the nation catches cold. Why? Because NANS was unified. NANS worked as a team at that time, until the whole crisis and the sessions and became a sessional politics, and NANS began to talk about regions and factions, and it's a shame what we have today. But I still believe there is people out there in NANS who are sincere, who refuse to compromise, who are still strong, who are still on fire, who still want to stand tall, to speak up for the downtrodden in our societies, for the population that lives under $1 per day. I still believe there's still some people in NANS who can still do something about our country, about the land. If anything, if nothing at all, let them lead so we can call Sovereign National Conference on the direction we can go. We can't force people to stay together. Boko Haram wants to live by Sharia. Oh, by all means, please, let them have their Sharia state. Don't force them to stay with you. The Christians in the South can live as Christian states. There is nothing wrong with that. I believe people could turn to session and live and develop their own land. I don't see anything wrong with that. I believe people can actually stick together. I believe in confederacy if it's necessary. I also believe in strong federalism. If they are genuine, based on constitution, we have no constitution. What they call constitution is military dictatorship. 99 edition by Babangida administration. But the junta, how can military write constitution for us? We the people. Here in America, Americans come together and sent delegates in Philadelphia in 1776. Am I lying? No. And that was how the colonies came together. And how what you have today as Constitution of the United States of America. We don't have the privilege to do that. A junta, a stark illiterate that has no education to write our Constitution with Omo Omori, political advisor to Babina regime at that time. We think it's an insult to our intelligence. And the earlier we challenge that and sit together and write our own Constitution, the better. Nigeria has no Constitution. And shame on those who say that we have Constitution. Shame on you if you claim that we have Constitution. We have no Constitution. You know it deep in your heart that we have no Constitution. So why do you continue to say Constitution station so and so? Shameless people.
Is there anything else that you would like to add to what has been said?
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and this privilege to address our people. As a people, we need to wake up. We cannot continue to compromise our belief system. We cannot continue to force people to stay with you. If northern states want to have their own independent states, please, by all means, they should have their independent states. If the West wants to have one, please, by all means. If the East wants to have one, by all means. If the Jaw wants to have a nation, please, they should be free. But if we want to have a true federalism, we should begin to talk about it by calling a national sovereign conference where we'll be able to talk about holding people accountable. Look at UN data saying that over 800 billion of oil and gas revenue were squandered in the last 10 years. How would that be? How can that be? How do you compare such? Where is the justice? Where is the accountability? It's called plutocracy, where people are diverting resources that's meant for infrastructures to their own personal businesses and their own pocket, where states are looting state resources to their own personal business and call themselves governor, where local government chairmen and council chairmen are looting the money given to them to develop their states and their regions and their local government and their council, their constituencies, into their personal use, and nobody's called accountable. Even the EFCC is corrupt. Who's supposed to call these people to action? That's why we cannot continue this way. We need to sit together and talk. And people who cannot sit and talk are lost people. And such people has no future. I think we should come together and speak to each other and have a conversation. When we have a conversation, that means you're intelligent. People who cannot have conversation are not intelligent people. They're barbaric. People who are bombing themselves and killing each other are very barbaric. It's Stone Age. This is 21st century. Civilization calls that we should begin to have a conversation, to have a dialogue among ourselves as family, as people, as a nation, as a state, as a multi-nation, multicultural, multi-religion, multi-ethnicity. When we do that, then we are talking about building infrastructures. When we do that and talk about transparency and accountability, fiscal responsibility, then we are talking. When such does not exist, all our international social media and talking and cursing each other and doing all that is worthless. It's not even worth my time. That's what I think. And my people, you know whom you are. This is my view. What is your view? Please wake up wherever you are. Let's start from our homes, our family. Some of us suppose are people who loot and bring it to our family. We should challenge such and begin to ask our children, how did you make your money? If people come in from nowhere within 6 months, they are ministers, they are millionaires, and driving Porsche cars and flying private jets, ask questions. Where do you make your money? It's our duty to do that as advocates, as representatives of our people. When we do that, we are justified. That's what I think. And I thank you for asking me these questions.
Final question. As the founder of republicsreporters.com, would you encourage people to assist you in the efforts that you so eloquently stated that Nigeria needs? And would they be able to contact you? How would they be able to contact you if they wanted to offer suggestions, help, ideas, whatever?
Viewers out there and listeners out there, we here at Republic Reporters or International Human Rights Monitor, these agencies are platforms. These are your platforms. We use social media to interact with you, with the world. The world has gone digital. We should be able to enjoy the facility that is provided for us by the digital mechanisms and divide. The digital age is a facility, it's a capability that helps us and each of us to talk to each other. When we use this equipment, when we use these capabilities, we'll be able to interact. Please talk to us on Facebook, talk to us on Twitter, talk to us on the websites, use the social media. Please join us in the campaign against corruption. Please join us in the campaign against kidnapping. Please join us in our campaign against looters and criminals and killers and murderous movement that is bombing and killing our people. I'm talking about Boko Haram. Join us to challenge this barbaric acts of killing of our people, wherever they may be, in the north, in the west, in the east, across the world. It's our duty, it's our responsibility to work together to speak up, to make sure that this cannot continue. If we do, we will build a better society. If we do, we are holding ourselves and them accountable. Please tell us how we are doing. Send us your emails, send your articles. We also ask funders out there, we're also looking for funding, because we cannot run these agencies without finances. We need donor agencies who can support us. We are open. Our phone number 646-643-9571 or 646-707-5130. Send us email. It's all there on the websites, on our Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Please talk to us. We are starting, we're doing something great. And those of you who are with us, please stay with us. Stay strong. Share our message. Spread the good news out there. We are moving, and it's a huge movement. Please continue the good work you're doing wherever you are. We love you. We say God bless you. Thank you so much for the work that you do. Thank you so much.
We want to thank Mr. Kalamuna for his time and information that he's shared with us today, and we ask you to please respond to the things that he has said here today, that Nigeria might be united and become a place similar to the way it was, and much better than the way it was. We thank you very much for your time, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.